Yes. Give me some shelter. Welcome back, everyone. You have reached Old Guys Still Rock. I am Blair Armstrong of Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker, located here in beautiful Indian Wells, California. In just a short amount of time, we're going to be joined by my very good friend for almost 30 years and co-host of the show, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated. He's located in Eugene, Oregon. Today's episode is number 42. Believe it or not, I can't believe we got here, but I'm super excited to share this with you. But today's topic is vendetta. If you have a vendetta, how did that turn out for you? Was it positive? Was it negative? What were the repercussions of that, if any, when you carried that vendetta? You still carry them to this day. We're going to talk about a wide range of projects, stuff that I've gone through, stuff that Brent has gone through regarding this topic. So if you have an experience with a vendetta, leave us some comments of what you went through and how that changed you, or how carrying that was either positive or negative. Whatever that may be, leave us a comment. Guys, we're going to get right into this episode here real quick. But first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support you've shown us, for all the shares you've given us, for all the views you've given us. Again, if you like this episode, don't forget to share the show. This is not a monetary podcast, so we don't get the exposure that typical podcasts get. So share that show. If you haven't done so yet, when you do share with your friends or family, make sure that they know how to hit that subscribe button. So let's get to the other side. Let's get into this topic today. I think there's going to be a lot of good things that come out of it. But again, thank you so much for all your support, and we look forward to talking to you guys soon. See you on the other side. Take care. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back. We are two old guys that still rock. There's a bunch more of you that are becoming Old Guys Still Rock members, and we love that, so thank you for that. This is episode number 42. I am Blair Armstrong, 42. I am Blair Armstrong, located in beautiful Indian Wells, California, and actually it is beautiful now. We're back to the normal weather. Why I moved here. We're going to have a nice 85 to 87 today, a light breeze, crystal blue sky. We just got done with some rain the other day, blew down all the dust. Anyway, that's who I am. I am Blair Armstrong, as I said. I am Team Armstrong Coldwell Bankers. You see behind me, we are luxury realtor specialist here in the Coachella Valley. And then on my right, possibly your left when this comes out, is my very, very good friend for almost 30 years, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated. He is located in beautiful, beautiful Eugene, Oregon.
Well, it's beautiful in spots today. So
there you go.
It's supposed to be 63 and mostly cloudy, and getting ready for rain coming up for the next week. So April showers bring May flowers,
That's
right?
right.
So coming
April
soon.
showers, and then May showers bring June flowers, and then so June showers bring July. So about June 20th, you'll start getting summer out there. Hopefully sooner. It was hot for you guys It was actually hot for you guys last year. So, anyways, my dude, quite the week.
Quite the week. Yeah, quite the 2 weeks, really.
Yeah, it has been a party. And that's a little bit of sarcasm, but there has been some stuff in there. So that has helped us become better, not only as individuals, but as leaders, is that, as we constantly grow ourselves to become better leaders. There's been a lot of stuff in those 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever that may be, over the course of our life, really, to get better. But how are you holding up, my dude?
Good.
Yeah.
Just, moments of emotion, been a roller coaster, lots of highs, some lows. But, as they say, you can't have the dark without the light. You can't have the light without the dark, right? So you got to have both ends. Otherwise, you don't appreciate it. So somebody I used to know told me this saying, and it's similarly placed. How can I miss you if you won't go away?
Right.
So you have to have the positive and the negative in your life to be able to reflect and be able to appreciate the things when things happen good. So
yeah. I agree. So, dude, I've had this thing on my mind. I have a friend that has gone through some stuff over the last couple of years. That they have been um, released from that. I guess they did their penance, if you may.
Mm-hmm.
But the person that they were involved with another person. There was some stuff that came out of it. This person is carrying this vendetta. I'm going to get you back for the things that you have done.
Yeah.
And it sits there and it's mind blowing because even though this has been over the course of years where I'm talking to my buddy, even though there's been a course of time, pay their penance in the eyes of the court, or whatever that may be, right? The
Mm-hmm.
eyes of justice, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
This one person just wants to hold on. I'm like, I'm going to go to my deathbed on this. And so my question to you is, and maybe you've had this happen to you, and I know that I'm sure it happens to me because I'm going to actually bring this back to me because I was this person. I'm like, you did me wrong. I'm going to go to my deathbed and I'm going to hold you accountable to it until you pay your price. And that's going to come from me. So my thing is, why is it so important for us, again, pointing the fingers at myself at certain times, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But why is it so important for us to be the judge, jury, and executioner, no matter if we've been reprieved of that or we're still going through that? Because at the end of the day, what I'm finding out more on my side, I'll say this, what I'm finding out more on my side, the more vengeance that I hold is the more darkness I protrude.
Yeah. So when we talked about this pre podcast yesterday, I sent you the email that Oxford Dictionary, retribution.
Right.
Synonyms for retribution: punishment, penalty, nemesis, fate, doom, one's due, just wages, justice, retributive, and I probably butchered that. Poetic judgment, reckoning, revenge, reprisal, requital, retaliation, and payback. I didn't see one positive adjective in that whole meaning, and so that's really what it boils down to. I'm going to paraphrase this study because I don't have it in front of me to share, and I don't remember who did the study, but they did a study, when they put the brain cap on and all that good stuff, and they measure all your things and see what your responses are. And it was a negative. It was how long your body chemically or electromagnetically holds on to a negative emotion or a negative thought or a negative feedback to you before your body releases it. So 10 minutes of negativity takes your body somewhere between 4.5 and 6.5 hours to normalize after 10 minutes of negativity. So during that person that you're talking about, negative thoughts, if we believe in the way the universe works, E equals MC squared, right?
Right.
So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But this is even worse than that. This is 10 minutes of negativity for 4.5 to 6.5 hours on the opposite side of that.
Right. Right.
So then you have to, as a logical human being, you have to look at that, knowing that information and say, is this worth it? Is it really worth it? Am I going to hold myself onto this and attach to this for 10 minutes and pay the price for 4.5 to 6.5 hours? And it's probably even worse than that. I don't know about you, but anytime I have any negativity or ill will towards anybody, it usually comes out like sweat pouring out of me on a hot summer day, and you're having to do a sprint. that negativity just sits there and ekes out of you. It's almost a stench you can smell on people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just horrible. I can't even, hopefully I'm explaining it in a way that makes sense, or at least, rationalized to somebody, but I don't know. There's nothing positive to it. So what do you do, right? So that's what you're asking. What do you do? Do you hold on to that? Well, that's a you question.
Right.
But statistically, the answer is no.
Right.
But how do you, without knowing that statistic or not hearing it from us, how do you make that judgment call in your life on a daily basis? If you're a believer, we talk about that often. It's not that we are any better or able to process things any better, but we have a basis for being able to process that. But if you're not, and so where do you get your basis from that? Do you get it from being taught honor, being taught integrity, being taught how to treat people? Do your upbringing, your environmental, impact that you had growing up, or things like that. Where do you get your magnet to pull you back on course? Right. And so for me, being a believer, trying to be a good person, trying to do the right things, trying not to hold on to negativity because I have the information. Am I able to do that? Well, a lot of times, no.
Right.
I'm human. I'm going to be fallible, but I don't know. It's a struggle. Even knowing the information, it's a struggle.
It is a struggle. And I'm glad that we're talking about this too. As you guys have watched our other 41 episodes, usually we have some common thread of God that comes through here. So if you don't like that, too bad. We're not unapologetic about it. It's what we believe into it, but there is some basis. There is some foundation to where we're coming with this. And I'm glad that you said a lot of things that being a believer, part of that is we have been brought up an eye for an eye. Let's go to Vendettas. Something happens to one of our kids.
Well, everybody says it's in the Bible, but tell me where that says, right? Tell me
it
where
does say an eye for an eye, but who's the eye for the eye? Who is the eye for an eye forgiven? It's not from us. It's not for the humans. It's never been from humans. It is God trusting. It is us surrendering our free will. Now, we more than welcome. If something happens to your family member or you feel like you've been justice and you want to go hand out your way, that's totally free will. That is what has been given to us from the day of our birth. We have free will to make choices, whatever we want to do, whatever that may be. Yeah. So when I'm asking this question, this is stuff that I've gone over to a devotional knowing that we're going to be talking about vendettas today. And I'm the eye for the eye guy. You do my family wrong, or you do my wife wrong, you do my kids wrong. I'm going to come after you and destroy you. What is that getting me? That just looks like there's another hypocritical Christian going to hide behind God and go attack somebody else for them attacking you. And then they can be able to throw that back for you. To me, when I'm realizing and having this conversation, not only with my friend, but with you about what's going on, now I'm sitting here and thinking, it's not up to me to make the adjustment. Yeah. It's taken me, again, I'm 55 years old, and it's just taken me over the last couple of years to kind of realize, even the last couple of days, to realize how much energy I've been spending. I'm going to get you. I'm going to show you. That's not what somebody wants. I don't want someone to talk to me when I go see Jesus. Oh, he was a really good day, but boy, if you crossed him, boy, watch out. Watch out. He's going to come. Yeah.
Ed Milet talks about it, when he comes to, to meet Jesus, and he's standing there at judgment, and he says, good and faithful servant, you are not the person that I thought would be standing in front of me today, either good or bad, right? And so how do you want to perceive that? So believer or non-believer? So
absolutely.
If you're a believer and you say, I'm going to go see Jesus, and I'm going to, stand before him and in that spot of judgment. And hopefully he says, good and faithful servant, you've done all the things that I've expected you to do, and you are the person that I expected you to be standing here in front of me. Mm-hmm. So non-believer, either way, do you want to be judged even on this earth that you're just the a-hole that held people in contempt every time that you were wronged?
No, well, yes and no on that question. Do I want to be judged on it? Yes, I want to be judged so I can get that corrected now. This is me now.
Right.
5 years ago, don't tell me that I can't be pissed off about this and angry about it. Because there's going to be times that I'm still going to be angry about some stuff. I have to circle my horrible word. I'm going to use it anyway because I'm halfway through it, but I'm going to circle back.
Key phrases, coined phrases, whatever they call them.
I hate you, Jets hockey.
Let's just add that. Let's just add 3 more to it, right? So at the end of the day, or I'm just trying to say, or I'm just saying, right? So yeah.
So it just, and so when we again talked about this the other day and getting back, it's like, holy Moses, just for so long it's been an eye for an eye, and I've had some stuff that's happened to me. I do have a story that resonated in me years ago, back in the early 90s. I was working at a place. If you guys know me long enough, you know where I worked back in the 90s. Anyway, with that being said, I had someone come up and make false allegations to me and concocted this story that I was actually in multiple different states. I almost lost not only my position that I was in, my job that I was in, and I was put on reprieve. Don't come back for work for at least a week till we get this sorted out to it. And I had these evil thoughts in my head, and I'm like, I said probably horrible things about this person, and more than likely back in those days, I probably did. I wished evil thoughts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, something I would say probably, I don't know if it was a couple months or a year or so later. That person went away. Not of my doing. It was just it was an accident, and unfortunately he passed away. That still resonates me to this day, that my hatred could be that bad, and I hope that I didn't cause that. So there's some transparency. I'm not saying that I did, but I'm just saying is I in those days, and even it could be to this day, that we could wish so much darkness on something that something does happen. Now it's you have to be held accountable for your vendetta, even if it's in your mind.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that's why I'm glad that we brought this up the other day, because that resonates for me time to time.
Well, think about this. How many miles is it from your house to your office?
7.
How many idiots cut you off, drove slow, drove stupid
today?
Did any just today? Yeah. Just today. 3, 4, maybe on average.
I do live in a seasoned community, my friend.
Yeah. So I drive a lifted truck, and I'm always towing, and so even with airbags, my truck is pointing. My headlights are pointing up higher than most, and they're probably in people's faces. I got flash bright lights like 5 times on the way to work today because I had a load of stuff in the back of the truck. Mm-hmm. And clearly, any logical human being could look at the truck and see that it's loaded, right? Mm-hmm. And that I'm not blinding them, and I don't have my bright lights on because my fog lights are on. So I don't know if anybody knows this, but you cannot have your fog lights on and your bright lights at the same time. It's not possible the way cars are designed.
Right.
So if you see somebody that has their fog lights on, they do not have their bright lights on. Just know that.
Yeah.
But yet 5 people bright lighted me today and flashed their lights at me because I'm carrying a load. So I have an opportunity 5 times today to yell 4-letter expletives, flash my bright lights at them, tell them they're number 1, or something like that, or to get in, to engage in a negative way, the first thing that goes through my head is all those things that I just said. Are you number one? Do I flash my lights? Do I yell and scream, cuss and holler? All of those. And then I'm like, I am not going to breed negativity into my day today. I've had enough negativity over the last few weeks that I'm not gonna do that. So that was the first time. And then the second time. And then the third time. By the time I get the fourth flash, now I'm like, you dumb, and I'm saying it to myself in my head and verbally in my truck. I'm not flashing my lights at them. I'm not telling them they're number one. And so, but if we go back to the study, right? I had about a half a minute worth of negativity in my head and come out of my mouth the fourth and fifth time. So now it's going to take me 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours for me to get my cortisol levels proper, to get my adrenaline levels proper, to get the anxiety and the stress I've caused myself, the mental anguish and the mental block I've likely created for myself, freed from my physical and emotional being. I made 3 good choices. I made 2 poor choices.
Right.
And I'll pay the price.
Yeah.
For a couple hours today.
Yeah. Physically and mentally. Right. It's like you did. I mean, really at the end of the day is you did harm to yourself.
Right.
Because of that. And that's what I guess we're going to is like everything that's put in front of us. Do we have vendettas against people that don't believe the same thing that we do? We have vendettas because you sit on one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle, and we do this stuff. And so we create this hatred in our mind because what is fed through us, we've talked about this before. I think a lot of this vendettas now is we see people with social media for the things that they do or the beliefs that they have. And so we create this like, oh, I cannot wait for them to have this happen to them. Or, oh, if I ever saw them do this, I would do this to them. That is the point. So going back to your faith part about it, it is evil against God. And the evil is going to be put in your face. So you have hatred against your neighbor, vendetta, whatever that may be. And regardless if it's your physical neighbor or not, everybody that you run into is a neighbor in so many different terms. But that's what I said is I feel like this is this evil force. Like, let's see how much hatred we can create. TV, media, movies, whatever that may be, interactions, people flashing lights on it or whatever that is this evil force making this to have this vendetta mentality so we could just all go back and live in our silos and screw everybody else. I'm going to take care of me, and what everybody else, it's up to them. Instead of person's having a bad day, I need to step in and help out and do some different things and create some good out of that. That's a hard part. I'm not saying that I'm doing that. I'm just saying is maybe this podcast today makes us take 1 second, maybe a half a second, and think about, no, not going to fall for that. As you've heard me say today, not today, Satan, not today. Right? When I have a vendetta against my putter for missing a 3-foot putt, not today, Satan. I'm not going to lose it because I am trying to become better. And for me to get better means I have a mentality that I not only want to become better, but I want to be a leader and help other people get better. Same as you, same as a lot of other people that watch this podcast. In one part or another, they want to be a leader of something.
Don't throw your putter, Happy Gilmore.
Don't throw your putty. And don't punch Bob Barker.
That's right. So I'm going to take this back because we are old guys that still rock. I'm going to take this back to the 80s, right? So late 80s movie came out, Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd, all the guys in it. Great show. But I don't know if you remember in that, but the slime and the ooze fed on evil. It only propagated and grew when there was evil thoughts, evil emotions, evil everything. And it got so prevalent that it was filling the sewers underneath the city and then started coming up through out of the streets, out of the potholes. And what was feeding it was the evil in the world, and evil thoughts and evil emotions and evil responses, and just this, anytime somebody flashed their lights, right? So more ooze duplicated. And it's very interesting to go back and watch that movie now, knowing that after watching and listening and reading that study that I read and watched and listened to, knowing that 10 minutes of evil thoughts takes you 4.5 to 6.5 hours to get rid of, physically and emotionally and mentally. And so if you watch that, just Google Ghostbusters evil slime or something like that, and it'll be interesting to watch that, knowing this information now. So anytime that you are seeking retribution and any of those phrases that we talked about earlier, it's likely that you're just duplicating the evil that men do.
You're looking in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Well, you've said.
By the way, I love that Iron Maiden song, "The Evil That Men Do." Listen to that too. That's the whole thing, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's you're staring at evil. You're mirroring evil when you're doing that. You're doing exactly what Satan, if you may, wants to have society is like. Yeah, you know what? You've got to take care of this. You got to take care of this on your own. You can't rely on anybody else. Remember, this is just you. You have to handle this situation on your own, and whatever it's take, get it handled.
Did I talk about? I can't remember on our podcast last week. Did I talk about the way that Satan gets things done versus the way God gets things done?
I think let's recap that for the people that might have missed
it. I don't know if I talked about this, but I think you and I talked about this offline. So I heard this quote, and I'm going to paraphrase this because I don't have it written down in front of me, but it kind of went something like this: only God can work miracles. Satan cannot work miracles. So the only tool that he has to create anything is to get you to do it. Isn't that wild?
It is wild. It's such a fine line, right? Such a fine line.
So God can change your trajectory, but the devil can't. Only through your actions can the devil help you change your trajectory.
Right. And let Brent and I reiterate this. We speak about this because you're looking at two broken guys that have tasted life, made a ish ton of mistakes. And this has been as many books as we read, as many podcasts as we've done, as much therapy as we've had. This is the only thing that we have found that works. It may be different for you. So it's not making us better or worse for these things that we're sharing with you. It is just maybe an idea that if nothing else is working,
give it a shot.
Give it a shot. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. If you have any questions why it worked for us, give us a call, text us, message us. More and more people are doing that. Why is this not happening? Why are not stuff into it? It's a lot of work. It's not easy doing what we do and how we surrendered it. And it doesn't make us, we're not playing martyrs here. We're just saying this is a path that we chose. Other people may choose different paths. That's why we have free will. But being two broken guys that are on paper or maybe visually, when you look at us for different things that we do, are successful, a lot of work behind that to get to this point. And we have a lot of stuff done to it. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys that are watching us are going through the same stuff. No one's life is rainbows and unicorns. No one. And as much as you want to portray it, I will say this, I still get caught up in watching these young guns that are YouTube famous, and I'm like, what a crock of ish are you guys? And how much people buy into this, and then the propagandas of different things. So going back to, I mean, we know that we've been talking about vendettas, but going back to why this is such a grassroots podcast to it is because we are talking about everyday life, which everybody is going through. Nothing that we talk about is something that you haven't gone through, or maybe your friends are going through. But this is an avenue that, knowing that everything that you and I, that people talk about while we're sitting around after a round of golf, or we're having dinner, or we're feeling really bold because we're hiding behind a keyboard, talking about it through social media. Brent and I are filleting ourselves in front of you, letting you know, hey, dude, we're going through this. So when you see our successes on Instagram or Facebook, or we talk about and we glorify our wives or our kids, which we should be doing, understand that there's stuff behind here too, that we're filleting ourselves in front of you, saying, hey, we still suck. Yep. But we're trying to get better. And so
this just came to me, and I know I've heard it somewhere, but if the road to success is paved with stones of failure, then I've got an 8-lane freeway, buddy.
Amen, man. Amen. Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to get this wrapped up. We got a bunch of stuff to do. I know Brent is just getting back from a great, I wouldn't say it was a great time in Vegas, but I'm sure that you learned a lot for your payroll company. That's some great people.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife and I are split between households. She's going through some stuff with her family. Not bad, just helping out her family. My puppy got spayed yesterday, and she doesn't think that she should sit down and chill out. So got to go handle that and handle some other stuff. So everyday life, but we love it. And I read something today, is that, I'll say this. So in the book of Numbers, so we can kind of stay in this biblical theme. And this is my blueprint for life. And you guys can probably find this in some other book of Ed Milet or Andy Frisella or whatever you want, Tony Robbins, whatever you want to do. We have become so accustomed to complaining about stuff, we forgot how to become a leader. So my challenge to you, because this is a challenge to me, because I get caught up in the same thing. So when I'm telling you stuff, I'm just speaking loudly and looking at myself in the mirror. Same thing with Brent. Mm-hmm. If you don't like something, become a leader in that area and make the changes, instead of sitting behind there and segregating people or not following your same ways. I don't think you need to force it upon them, but what positive change can you make? And that's the premise behind this. We're building community here, and we know that there's people that visually we may not get along with, but if we actually sat down with them, we'd probably get along with them. So if you're struggling, this is no longer, as we said many episodes, if you're struggling because it's right or left or it's not instead to it, let's start getting rid of that stuff and start trying to meet in the middle, because there's a lot of commonality between humans. And again, everybody wants separation right now. The powers to be want separation. And the more that we find that, as Brent has said to it, and Andy Frisella, this personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. And for all of us to pursue excellence and work together to pursue that excellence, that is what's going to make all this negativity go away. Whatever you want to bring up, social issues, border issues, political issues, all of that stuff will go away if you just take a couple minutes. I'm working on it. Brent's working on it. My wife's working on it. Our kids are working on it. So this is a common thread. But if you want to be a part of that, let this resonate to you, is that there's more commonality in the middle than you think that there really is. That is my soapbox for today.
A wise person once said, united we stand, divided we fall.
Yep.
So bear that in mind.
Don't lose hope. keep your faith. And if you need prayer, reach out to us. If you need help, reach out to us. So, my dude, I want to give you your famous last words.
Don't make a damn difference.
All right, guys, go have yourself a great day. Thank you so much for all of you that have supported us and continue to support us and share the show. We love you guys the best. Have a great, great day. Stay safe. But most of all, guys, God bless. Take care.